From around 500 BC, and for the next 300 years, Greece was one of the most important places in the world. The people built fantastic temples, made scientific discoveries, wrote plays, and founded the first proper democracy. They called themselves Hellenes, and their land was Hellas, and it was a land ruled over by the gods.
You know my name? It's me, Zeus. Good to meet you all. A little bit of a backstory for you. My father, Cronos, when I was a baby, he tried to eat me. I know, right? I know! But don't worry. He had a thunderbolt especially made, and I blasted him with my thunderbolt. Bye-bye, Daddy. You were another. Serves you right for trying to eat your children. Anyway, these thunderbolts are very, very handy, and anybody who disobeys me, anybody who displeases me, I blast them with a thunderbolt.
Greece was never one country called Ancient Greece. Instead, it was divided up into smaller city-states, the most famous of these being Athens, Sparta, Corinth, and Olympia. Each city-state ruled itself with their own governments, laws, and army, but they sometimes joined together against an enemy, and their biggest enemy was the Persian Empire.
We've been fighting the Persians now for the last 3 days. This is the second time they try to invade us. You might remember the last time, about 10 years ago, the Battle of Marathon, with a man called Pheidippides. He ran all the way from Athens to Sparta to fetch help, and then he ran it all the way back from Sparta to Athens to tell them we'd won against the Persians. And we're going to beat them this time. There's only 300 of us Spartans remaining, 6,500 Greeks from other city-states, fighting against 150,000 Persians. Not great odds, but we'll beat them together. And this is the lowdown on why. Greek soldiers are called hoplites, and we fight as a team. We line up in ranks and lock our shields together, so just our spears are pointing over the top. This formation is known as the phalanx. We've got archers and cavalry too, but it's the phalanx sticking together, working as a team, that has won us so many battles.
A hoplite's main weapon was a double-ended spear with a sharp metal point at both ends called a doru. It was 3 meters long and used for stabbing rather than throwing. They carried a big round shield called an aspis or hoplon. This was made from wood and sometimes covered in a layer of bronze. On his head, a hoplite wore a bronze helmet. This often had a crest made from horsehair, which stuck up to make the soldier look taller and fiercer. A hoplite also carried an iron sword called a xiphos. This was used if soldiers needed to break rank and fight man to man.
Whoa! Hey man, sorry, I wasn't expecting you, I'm a little bit, all at sea today. Anyway, I wish you good tidings. Nice to see you. Anyway, I'm Poseidon, ruler of the seas, lord of the sea. And I love it here. I love it here, man. If you don't like getting wet, it's not for you. But people ask me, they say, hey, your two brothers, Zeus, lord of all the gods, and Hades, lord of the underworld, and you're a little bit jealous of them? And I think, no, man, no, do I look like I'm jealous? No, man, all that responsibility, I love it here. I love it here in the sea. I got a golden palace under the sea. I got a trident that can cause earthquakes just with one single strike, man. I got temples all along the coast. People worship me. They worship me, man. All along the coast. Mortals, they bring me gifts every day. Sometimes those gifts, though, they're a bit rubbish. And I get angry, and I cause a terrible storm with my trident. You know how it is. But sometimes they're okay. And fair dues. But it's very nice, and when it's like that, I keep the oceans nice and calm and sparkly just for them. But otherwise, it's a terrible storm. You know how it is. Fair enough, isn't it? Fair dues. Yeah. Anyway, gotta go. Anyway, what did the ocean say to the shore? Nothing. It just waved. Gotta go, man. See you later, man. Whoa, I'm going.
The Greeks built temples to their gods and goddesses, held up with stone columns with brightly painted marble statues made by master sculptors. They went to the temples to pray and to please the gods. They brought gifts and made animal sacrifices. Every city had its own patron god or goddess. For the city-state of Athens, the temple was called the Parthenon, and is on a rocky hill called the Acropolis. This was built in honour of the god Athena, from whom Athens takes her name, and has a 40-foot gold statue of her inside. Athens became the largest of the city-states.
I'm not afraid of anything or anybody. Except for maybe my wife here. Yeah, she is also my sister. Okay, move along. Park it there, move along. Nothing to see here, people. Nothing to see here, people. She's very jealous, and she'll be rotten to my kids. I got a lot of kids, what can I tell you? Some of them are human, some of them are godlike, some are a little bit of a mashup of the two. I got a lot, what can I say? I've been busy. Anyway, my friends, I see you later. I got a few thunderbolts to throw at people. 1, 2, 3, and... What's a Greek? Nothing. They're all skinned. Hello and welcome. We are just rehearsing for this evening's play, here at the theatre of Dionysus, the Greek god of drama and wine. Two of my wife's favourite things, especially the drama. Anyway, for those of you who get lost easily, you can't miss the theatre. It's on the south side of the Acropolis. Huge, great place, seats about 17 to 20,000 people, and 17 to 20,000 people is what we're expecting tonight here in the theatre. Lots of big festivals going on around Athens, of course, and honouring the gods, lots of music, lots of feasting, lots of dancing, lots of singing. You see, the arts here in Athens are at the forefront, in the centre of everything we do here, and every Athenian is encouraged to attend, especially in the biggest arts festival of our time, the city Dionysia, of which this evening's play that I am going to be in is one of the plays going to be entered. Anyway, the plays are a big competition to see who's the best playwright. You see, the playwrights are like the big celebrities of our time. So let's have a little rundown, shall we? Number 1.
Achilles. He's won the city Dionysia 17 times. He died a few years back when a tortoise, dropped by an eagle, fell on his head. Number 2. Sophocles. He's written over 123 plays. Number 3. Euripides. He got kicked out of Athens or exiled because of what he spoke about in his plays. They all wrote tragedies, moral tales of love and loss. But the final big gun is Aristophanes, who wrote comedies, which were more of a comic drama than the serious tragedies. But there was also a third type of Greek play called a satyr play, which is sort of a rude play involving naughty half-men, half-goat characters.
Half men, half goat? Don't ask. Anyway, there's only 3 actors ever in a Greek play, and we perform on the stage, and behind us is a place called the Skene, and this is where we go to get changed, like a great big tent. Anyway, we put on different kind of masks, and different padding and different wigs to become different characters in the play. No women are allowed on the Greek stage, no girls are allowed, so we play all the parts completely. In front of us is a space called the orchestra, a big circular area. Orchestra means dancing space, and this is where the chorus go. What is the chorus, I hear you ask? Well, the chorus is about 15 men, and they dress up in all kinds of strange costumes, animal skins, and they dance and sing and answer back to us actors. Anyway, gotta be off, lots of rehearsing to do for tonight's play, but before I go, I know an actor who fell through the floor recently. Turns out it was just a stage he was going through. See you this evening, my friends, see you this evening.
Ancient Greek thinkers made big discoveries. Pythagoras found ways to measure and describe shapes. Aristotle studied plants, animals and rock, devising experiments to find out about the world we live in. Archimedes, a famous mathematician, who also famously shouted the line "Eureka" running down the street after one of his discoveries. There were also philosophers, such as Plato, and most famously Socrates, who asked questions about things like love and justice and how to live a good life. Socrates' ideas, however, eventually got him into trouble, and the people of Athens sentenced him to death by drinking poison.
I
am Hades, ruler of the kingdom of the dead, the underworld. My brothers are Zeus and Poseidon. They live on Mount Olympus, but I reside here in the dark, damp, dreary place, and lots of other D words I can't think of. Even the flowers are grey. The gates of the underworld are guarded by my fierce, three-headed dog called Cerberus. To reach my kingdom, there is only one way. Across the river Styx, where the ferryman will transport you over the dark water, but only for a fee. His name is Charon.
Sharon?
No, not Sharon. Charon. Not all the parts of the underworld are the same. If you have lived a good life, I will send you to live happily ever after into the Elysian fields. But if you have been really bad, you will end up in Tartarusa, a really horrible pit where your soul will be tortured. So, it is wise not to anger me. Whether you be alive or dead, you might end up someplace you really do not want to be for the rest of eternity.
Alright, Cerberus, let's go for a walk then. Come on, come on.
Athens was also the world's first democracy, or rule by the people. Instead of being ruled by a king, Athenian citizens would meet to decide how the city should be run. However, not everyone got a say. Ancient Greece was very much a man's world, and only men who owned property could vote. And women had little freedom. You could not even leave the house without a husband's permission, so they weren't allowed to vote. Neither were slaves. Although as many as 1/3 of the whole population of ancient Greece were slaves, neither were children, even though girls were often married off in arranged marriages, aged just 14 years old.
Excited today because below here, at Mount Olympus today, we are slap bang in the middle of the Olympic Games. Athletes from all over Greece have come to compete in the big religious festival held every 4 years, the games dedicated to me in my honor. Now they kicked off the games with a big sacrifice of 100 oxen to me. I don't know why oxen. I don't know why. I am a more of a chicken man myself, but you know, that's what they did. There is a big temple there dedicated to me. There is a huge gold and ivory statue, all about me. Yes, it's all about me, but you know, I'm quite a humble guy really. Yeah. Lots of humility, as you can see. Anyway, my friends, they are in the middle of the Olympics. It goes for 5 days. Can you hear the crowd? Let us go and join them for the Olympics!
As you can see, the 10 months of training have been paying off, and the moment has finally come. Here I am, under Mount Olympus itself, under the god Zeus himself, ready to compete in my first Olympic Games. I've been here in Athens for the last 10 months. I came from a poor farm the other side of Greece. Most of us Greeks are very, very poor. And I've come here to bring honor and respect to my father, my mother, and my town. Amazing, the noise is deafening. 50,000 people are here in Athens to see me and all the other athletes compete completely in the buff, in the nude. Yes, we believe it's a symbol of purity, but it's a little bit disgusting. But anyway, move along. It's quite good actually, because a truce has been declared. A truce means that everybody can move freely from one city or town to another without the risk of being killed, which means they can all make it here to the Olympic Games to see us all completely naked. A little bit embarrassing, you might think, but no women allowed to compete and no women allowed to watch. I say no women. If you're unmarried, then you're allowed to come in, but most women stay away, which is good for me and good for all of us. And they had their own games dedicated to the goddess Hera later on in the year. So here I am, ready for my first event. I'm pumped, people! I'm in the peak of physical perfection! Mwah! Mwah! What event am I doing? I'm not just doing one.
Oh no, not 2. Oh no, how many? 5, my friends, 5. That's right, I competed in the pentathlon. You might be asking, what am I going to win from all this? Cash, medals. No, what I'm going to win is a big wreath of leaves to put on my head. Who likes leaves? Yes. And maybe a big vat specially decorated, a big vat containing olive oil. Who likes olive oil? Yes. And of course I bring glory, respect, and honor to my town, my mother, and my father.
Myths and legends played a very important part of Greek life, religion and thought, and they were passed down by storytelling in theatres and by word of mouth. There were so many amazing adventures, but here are some of the best known. The Minotaur. An Athenian prince called Theseus travels to a far-off island called Crete to kill a man-eating monster called the Minotaur. It's half man, half bull, and kept in a scary maze called the Labyrinth. Icarus. A boy called Icarus is given a pair of wax and feather wings by his father, but he flies too close to the sun, and when the wax which is holding the wings together melts, he falls into the sea and drowns. Perseus. A hero called Perseus has to fight Medusa, a monster called a gorgon. She has snakes for hair, and if you look into her eyes, you're turned into stone. To kill her, he had to use his shiny shield as a mirror, so he didn't have to look at her when he chopped off her head. Heracles. A man called Heracles, a child of Zeus, is set 12 tasks or labours by Hera. Feats so difficult they seem impossible. They include slaying the 9-headed water snake Hydra and bringing Cerberus, the monstrous watchdog of the underworld, up to the land of the living.
But now, we're fighting one of our own, the Athenians. We've been doing this on and off for the last 25 years, and finally, the Athenians have lost for good, and they've been forced to surrender. No surprise. As a Spartan man, I've spent my entire life training for battle to be the toughest of the tough, the bravest of the brave, to be a warrior. You see, in Sparta, babies that are thought to be too weak are not going to make it into warriors and left outside in the cold to die. Me, of course, and my friends, we made it. At age 7, we were sent to a training camp to become a soldier, to become an athlete. It was harsh, I can tell you. At age 11, things got harder still. Corporal punishment came in. We could be beaten, whipped, just for the smallest thing. Cowardice, any cowardice, is a crime and can be severely punished. Girls had to be fit too. They had to be fit so they could raise strong, healthy sons. Although they can't fight in battle, they can fight us in sports and other things. Funny thing, Sparta is the strictest city-state all over Greece, and that's where girls and women have the most freedom of all. Anyway, the war is over. Sparta has won. The power is shifted from Athens to Sparta. And we are now the most powerful city-state in all of Greece. No retreat, no surrender. That is Spartan law. And by Spartan law, we will stand, and we will fight, and we will die. A new age has begun. A new time for Greece. I am Greece. I am Sparta!
After years of warring against each other, the once powerful city-states of Greece were weak and were invaded, and in 336 BC were taken over by the Macedonians and soon ruled by Alexander the Great, who conquered all the land between Greece and India. After his death, Greece slowly declined, and a new civilization was rising to power. In 146 BC, the Greeks were finally defeated at the Battle of Corinth. The time of the ancient Greeks was over, and the time of the Roman Empire had begun.